Ani, Mike Ndishnikas, Anishinaabe Endat at Bruce County Museum and Cultural Center, Nojba. I'm here to share resources with you this Treaties Recognition Week. Today, we will be looking at land use. Let's start by thinking about where we live. We don't have to go far back in history to see changes in the rural regions, villages, towns, and cities we live in. However, if we go back to the time of great changes that came with settlement and treaties, there is a recognizable, stark difference. I am standing in modern Bruce County, in front of what feeds almost all of us now, a farm. If we look at it with the eyes of an Anishinaabe person in the 1800s, we see something different. We see devastation. Late fall and winter have always been difficult seasons for humans of any culture or nation. The way we live with our land decides how we approach this difficulty. First Nations view the land as shared, alive, and an equal part, along with everything in it, of creation. When you view all creation as equal, you recognize the importance of everything in it to maintaining balance. To European settlers, land was something to be cleared and used. This approach provides food, provides shelter for the one doing the clearing and using. Animals do not use this space, at least not to anywhere near the degree they would use the forested area. Here, there could be food. Here, if you own the silo where the corn is stored, there is food. If you are traveling through on your way from summer to winter homes, there is nothing. The clearing and agricultural use of land until recently has been viewed unequivocally as progress. Now we are starting to recognize that there are drawbacks to this way of living with the land. This chart from our world and data shows the amount of the Earth's surface that is land, then breaks it down further until we see the percentage that is actually used and usable as farmland. As you can see, at the point this data was collected, farmland has already surpassed forests. This trend globally has developed over the last 200 years of human history in response to two very specific things. One, the increase in human population, and two, the large-scale shift to a diet based on farmed calories and protein. In the follow-up activities, you'll have the opportunity to explore whether this works or not through our world and data. For now, I want to look visually at land use. Let's say we have a brand new, never before seen by humans chunk of land. Let's assume it's big enough to sustain a family of four. www.smallfootprintfamily.com says that's about 2 acres, but I'm going to be generous and give us 16 to work with. First, we want somewhere to live. Let's put our house here. Luckily, we have a water source here. Now, if we are Anishinaabe people at the time of settlement, we might clear a small area to plant a few rows of corn, squash, and possibly beans. The rest of the area is left as forest, but it is anything but wasted space. There is wood available for fires for heat and cooking. There are edible wild plants, roots, parts of plants to use for medicines, and animal habitat, meaning your source of protein is never far away. Many of these benefits of the land are transparent, meaning they can overlap. You can have animals among the firewood trees over the edible plants with no issues. If you're lucky, your water source can also be a source of edible plants and animals. Now let's take those same 16 acres as a settler. Same shelter, same water source. Next, the settler clears the lands and plants crops. Each of these crops are opaque. There are no trees for firewood growing among the crops. Animals may pass through, but the settler is going to build fences to keep them out. If a crop fails, this land provides nothing. If you over-fertilize, your water source gets polluted. Returning to our world and data, we see that countries where most people eat a diet heavy in meat that is mostly produced on farms, if everyone adopted their diet, we'd need more than one Earth to feed us all. Last I checked, we've only got one. How does all of this connect to treaties? Well, when we look back at the period of our history where they were signed through the lens of life is definitely better with agriculture, it seems as though what happened was inevitable. If we change that lens and recognize there are many ways to live with your land, we can look at this time with new eyes. Chimigwech to the following.
Bye.